Okay.
Okay. So what gym is this? Is it just a generic gym picture that you found somewhere, or is it a specific gym?
This is gym background.
So it's just a generic background that you found somewhere. It's not a specific gym where you work out or something.
Yes, of course. This is my home. Can't you tell?
We're in his basement.
You're down.
Yeah.
That's what you did to your basement.
This is the basement.
Love it.
See the sun outside. You know, looks like California somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Well, it doesn't
Nice
look like
job.
California, does it, Wes? Here, talk, Terrence, so we can see.
What's that?
I said Terrence needs to talk so we can see his background big.
Oh,
I have to be the one speaking, so it pops up. Oh, I like that. Well, yeah, we don't have sun in Chicago right now, so we needed something festive. We need the sun.
It actually looks like it could be sunset somewhere. But anyway, be that as it may.
speaking of gyms, Terrence, a new gym opened by my place down in River North. I mean, they're all over now, but they're Vibes opened. Have you seen it? Or another
Nope.
one maybe? So I hadn't seen these in a while, so I was kind of surprised to see it pop up. It's called Vibes. It's got a really interesting look to it, but from what I surmise by just looking in the window, it is back to like the power plate thing, to where everything is, all the machines are vibrating. And I didn't. I knew for a while that was kind of the big push many years ago, like I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, the whole power plate thing, but I hadn't seen it in a while, so I was surprised to see a whole new gym pop up that has that.
Cool.
Yeah, that whole
Hence
method or whatever.
Vibes, I guess, huh? Hence the name Vibes.
Yeah, right. Plus, it's like dark and moody with neon lights.
What?
It's also like dark and moody with neon lights. It kind of looks like you're working out in the movie Tron when you're.
Well,
what does it mean? Like neon colors.
Yeah. Well, it's got it's dark, but then it's got kind of like vibrant neon light kind of coming like in pinks and blues coming up from, the sides or whatever. So it's kind of like you're like in a video game or something.
Oh, cool.
Huh.
Yeah, looks interesting. At least it's something different, because there's gyms all over there now, like every block. So yeah, at least that one's a little different than the others.
So what does that mean? What's a power play? I don't know what that means.
Power plate.
Oh, what does that mean?
It was Power Plate was a brand, but it was using the theory that when you work out under like with it vibrating, it increases its efficacy. I remember they discovered this back when they built the Hoover Dam, and like all the guys that were working with the pneumatic equipment were like getting these incredible muscles and stuff, and it was changing their physical like faster than anything else. And so that they've also found that like that's one of the reasons like the sonic toothbrushes work better too, because the vibration not only gets your teeth clean, but it increases the bone density. That's one of the things that the vibration does, is like increase bone density. So there was a company, I don't know, I think it was back either in the 90s or late 90s or early 2000s, called Power Plate, that they made all the gym equipment, and while you were standing on a plate that was vibrating, so you were doing all the regular exercises, lifting weights, or or even just like Terrence does, just using your body or whatever, and but it's supposed to increase like I said, the efficacy of it, so, and your bone density and all of that. So I think that's what this is too.
Have you heard about this, Terrence? Is this something you know about?
Nope.
Okay. Leave it
I
to
do not keep up with the trends and gimmicks that'll be gone in a year or so once their lease expires.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens. Probably
But this
should.
sounds like a chain, huh? This is a chain?
I think it is. It looks like it probably is. It looks like it's not just a, yeah, it's too kind of buttoned up for it to be just a one-off, I think. And they put it in pretty quickly too, which makes me think that they have, all
They
the
got the
stuff.
blueprint. They're just slapping
Yeah.
them up everywhere.
Right, yeah. Kind of like Orange Theory or one of those sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
They probably tried to just buy it up so Orange Theory couldn't.
Yeah. Well, Orange Theory's on the next block. So.
Oh, well then, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're literally like just popping up all over. I mean, there were already several gyms in the River North area there, but now they're literally like on every block. It's pretty insane, but I guess that's a good thing. It's better than fast food on every block, I guess.
That's true.
Well, they have that too, Wes.
Not so much in River North. I think it's
More
they have,
bars.
They have food.
Bars on every. They have a bar on every block.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So I had a situation come up last week that I thought maybe we could talk about a little bit today. I had a client. He's one of my fix and flip guys, and he made a lowball offer on a property that had actually hadn't even hit the market. I was kind of insider information, if you will, and he. And I kind of got some attitude from the other agent about the fact that they hadn't even hit the market yet, and he's making this lowball offer. And I just thought it would be a worthy conversation to have a little bit about how, I think sellers, well, in this market, I think the consumer in general has gotten sort of uppity about all of it, but right, in their own perspective, they've gotten I think buyers have gotten tired of getting beat up by sellers, and I think sellers feel like it's a seller's market and they can pretty much do whatever they want. But I just thought it would be an interesting conversation to talk about how, it doesn't hurt a seller for a buyer to come in with a lowball offer. If anything, it gives their listing agent leverage to get some other buyers off the fence to make better offers than they would make otherwise. Right? I mean, because buyers don't know what the offers are when they come in. They just know that there's an offer on the table. Sometimes that can backfire. You have to be a little careful as a listing agent, I think, to talk about if there's offers or not. And Wes, feel free to jump in here and agree or disagree with me. But generally speaking, a listing agent can use the fact that there's an offer on the table to leverage it into other offers and say, well, if you get a buyer's agent come in and start pointing out, well, the property needs a new roof, or this particular property, the electric was actually still on fuses, and the garage clearly needed a new roof. So these are things that a buyer's agent might say, well, what you're asking is a little steep considering the fact that this stuff needs to be taken care of. And the listing agent can retort and say, well, that might be so, but we actually already have an offer on the property. So how does that hurt a seller for an agent to do that? I don't think it does. I think it helps a seller.
Yeah, I think in that situation, particularly when you're talking about that it might appear that there's issues with the property, or it might appear that it's going to be difficult to get an offer, or get the property sold, then that's definitely a good leverage. But I do agree with what you said earlier. You have to be careful with that, because I would say that in as many cases as not, it's having notifying a potential buyer of another offer in as many cases as not can be a deterrent. So many people, and especially right now, don't want to get involved in multiple offers, don't want to get involved in what they consider to be a bidding war, even if it's really not. as soon as, for a lot of buyers, as soon as you tell them there's another offer on the property, they just emotionally let go, and don't want to get involved in that. And they immediately, for many of them, immediately assume that that's what it would be, that they would have to overpay to get it, and end up in some kind of bidding war. So yeah, I mean, you don't want to, it's always I think a difficult, tightrope to walk, because you don't want to not be upfront, with, particularly with the buyer's agent or whatever, and notify them, yeah, we do, just so if they're interested, we do have an offer on the table, but also not to promote it so much that it's scaring them off, because it often does.
Yeah, the only thing I would say though is that in this market, I think that buyers are expecting there to be multiple offers.
It depends on the property and the neighborhood, but yeah, well, like you said, in this case, they're not expecting it because, or may not be expecting it because there's issues with the property. But yeah, I think it just depends on what it is. And again, I don't want to, forget that we keep mentioning downtown, for instance, is very different than the rest of the city. That multiple offers are not as prevalent in the downtown neighborhoods, and there's still a lot of inventory to be absorbed. So it can be frustrating. I'm saying that because it can be frustrating for owners and sellers to hear us always talking about the crazy market and the multiple offers, and they've got properties sitting there. So
well, right, exactly. And that's another point. I mean, yeah, to your point about that. I mean, I've got a condo down in Hyde Park that is languishing, and prices are dropping, and it seems that market seems to be very similar to what you're seeing in River North, actually. But I'm a little surprised. We really expected the property to be sold, but that's not happening there. And maybe I don't know if it's the same phenomena as what's happening in River North. I guess I need to do the research on that, the market trends for Hyde Park. But
I think Hyde Park is usually difficult.
Yeah, you find it's usually a difficult market. Yeah, maybe that's what's going on then. But yeah, but the thing that kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but put me off a little bit, I guess, is the fact that the listing agent got sort of uppity about the fact that I would bring her a lowball offer. Well, there's two things about that. First of all, my client wanted to make the offer. He instructed me to make the offer, so it's not like I had a choice. I had to make it and present it. The other thing is that how did it harm her to have that offer, that she should be uppity about it? I mean, I get it. I guess you
I've seen you on the other side many times.
Well, that's right. I mean, yeah, you kind of get.
We'd be having a different discussion this morning if you were the seller.
How dare she submit that offer?
Well, there is that. It's a very emotional. I think we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. It's a very emotional. Real estate's a very emotional business.
We had that discussion about it being emotional for buyers and sellers, but yes, it can be emotional for the agents as well.
We get Terrence, wrapped up in it, right?
Yeah, Terrence, that made me curious about how often, by the time that the buyer comes to you for a loan, how often do you hear like the story of what it took for them to get there, like that they were in a multiple offer with 5 other people or not, or do you hear any of that, or is it just kind of like water under the bridge at that point?
Well, I have them before that happens.
What's that?
So
that's true.
So I have them. Yeah. I have them before they even submit the offer. They can't submit the offer without me. So
right.
I've had the conversation with them, and this is what we talk about. In terms of qualifying people. Here's our price point. Here's the top dollar we need to stick to. whether it's, that's the limit that they qualify for, or that's the limit that they want to spend on a monthly basis. So, I have the conversation, especially, these last couple of months. If you get into a multiple offer situation, it's going to change these figures. We'll have to go back and take a look and make sure it still fits into your monthly budget, or make sure that you actually still qualify for it if you want to go higher.
So yeah, so you're seeing a lot of impact then. I mean, because you're generating a lot of pre-approval letters that never go anywhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the appraisal contingencies and stuff? Are you having a discussion with that, with the buyers up front on that, or is that something you're leaving up to the agent?
No, I leave that up to the agent. I just let them know that, the facts in terms of the property has to appraise. And if it doesn't appraise, then someone needs to come out of pocket with the difference, whether it's the buyer, the seller, or a combination of the two.
Well, even
so,
that's, I think, a discussion. Yeah. So even that is something that probably
that's always been a discussion.
Yeah.
I always have that conversation with people, because if I don't and the appraisal comes in low, for some reason I get yelled at. So that is always a conversation I have with people, and I let them know, here's why the appraisal happens. Here's who the appraisers are. They're not related to anyone in the transaction. They don't work for me. They don't work for your agent. The appraiser's job is to justify the price. If the value is not there, it has to be made up by someone, because the bank is only going to lend you based on the lower of the appraised value or the purchase price. Mm-hmm. So that is set in stone into my spiel I have with people. Always has been. Yeah. It's a little bit more prevalent now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, because we're never, as many years as Mary and I have done this, we're really never in that conversation, when the buyer is talking to you. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next week we can talk a little bit more about the appraisal process. Might be a good topic to bring in Terrence and have him
a
bit about what he has to go through on his end. So.
Oh, definitely.
All right. Well, we're coming up on our 20 minutes. It's been 20 minutes, so I think we want to keep these short and sweet. And I hope everybody had a good 4th of July holiday. If you have any questions, obviously put them in the chat, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And we're here to help in any way we can. Terrell from Molitor Financial, Wes Walker, and myself are both agents with Compass, and we look forward to serving you in whatever capacity we can. So everybody have a good week, and we'll be back here again next week.
All right, bye. Have a good day.
Thanks so much.